This sport is awesome if there's wind. But when there's no wind, I guess I'd consider that to be floating. For the first 9 hours of this race, we were stuck in the floating mode. The only problem with floating is that there's no breeze to cool you off from the 95-degree heat.
The heat was oppressive. We were expecting it because the weather reports all called for it. We were hoping we'd be a little cooler out on the water because the water temperature's kind of low, but it really wears you down. I mean, that first leg was my first shift with the heat was the longest shift I worked.
You know, you have the flies biting you. Charlie, the chef, I mean, by, I don't know, 6 o'clock in the evening on Saturday, he was worried we were going to run out of water.
It is freaking hot. It's like 95 degrees in the sun, and the flies are biting our ankles. It's like, it's miserable. Down below, it's even hotter, and there's flies down there, too, so.
This is fun?
Oh, yeah, it's fun. Couldn't think of anything else better to do on a Saturday. Sit around on a sailboat in 95 degrees of weather, drifting along.
So there we sat, staring at the cool water, just inches from our toes that were hanging off the side of the rail. As the flies continued to bite, the crew continued to look for wind.
In these conditions, it's not so much us finding the wind, it's the wind finding us. It's a game of who's in the right place at the right time, and how do you know if you're in the right place? You don't.
As you can see on the water, there are dead spots and then there are ripples, and the ripples are where the wind is. So essentially, sometimes when it's dead calm, you're sailing from patch to patch to patch in the water.
For me, that's the big challenge. How do you take something and get the most out of it? That's kind of like the whole thing of sailing, you know. You got breeze, you got water, you got a boat, and that's the only way you're going to power this thing, and you just figure out, how do I get the most out of what I've got here?
So after nearly 10 hours of baking in the searing heat, the weather gods finally had mercy and granted us the ability to finally do something.
We're going to change our spinnaker sheets. We have the light spinnaker sheets on. We're going to go with the heavy spinnaker sheets. So we're going to send a guy out on a chair, on a Laracus, to clip on the new sheets and take off the old ones.
So why don't you just pull it in?
Well, it's too much pressure right now, and it'll take too much time to untie them. So we'd rather just send them up so we can do it all at once. Where's our halyard at?
It seems like a lot of to-do to simply change a rope. Could be that maybe the boredom had something to do with it.
And most of the fleet is behind us. Actually, there's only one boat ahead of us. But as we said earlier, this one giant race can be broken down into a series of smaller races. And as we go into the nighttime, that's when our captain and crew thinks we really have the advantage. So stick with us. Coming up next, we're going to go to the nighttime race.